For as long as I can remember, there's been a fascination among football fans with hot prospects and talented young players. Living in England, where we've had Manchester United's class of '92 and England's golden generation in recent times, there's now a new wave of optimism about the country's youngsters, who have been all-conquering at youth level and now just need nurturing and encouraging without any expectations or the weight of the nation being placed on their shoulders. Like the last bunch. Since it's a subject which fascinates football fans, whether that's because people love to speculate about who's going to be the next Messi or Ronaldo, or because they want some hot tips for that football index thing, which I wouldn't recommend by the way, I know on the face of it seems fun, but it really is a bubble with no intrinsic value, so personally I'd avoid sinking any of your savings into it. That's probably killed my chances of getting a sponsored post from them. Where were we? Oh yes, since young players fascinate fans, we've done lots of videos about youth football and teenage stars, and today I'm taking on an idea suggested on our recent 7 best teenage footballers video. The criteria is simple. To qualify, you must have been born in the year 2000 or later, and that's it. If you think I've missed anyone incredibly obvious, it's probably worth double checking that they weren't born in 1999 or 98, but if not, leave your suggestions in the comments. Here is our best 11 born since 2000. Goalkeeper: Alessandro PLIZZARI. Gianluigi Donnarumma and Alban Lafon are of course the best known young goalkeepers in the world game right now, but both were born in 1999 and are therefore far too old for our consideration. That's probably a good thing though, since whilst most of you probably know all about those two, the talents of Alessandro PLIZZARI are rather less well known. Back in 2017, when it looked as though Gianluigi Donnarumma was on the verge of leaving AC Milan, although the Rossoneri were keen to keep hold of the teenage superstar, they knew they had another top-class teenage shotstopper waiting in the wings. Alessandro PLIZZARI was 17 then. He's 19 now, and he's represented Italy at under 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20 level. PLIZZARI already stands at 6 feet 3 inches tall and has smart reflexes, but his future in Milan is questionable when the player in front of him could easily be the club's first choice for the next 15 to 20 years. Last season PLIZZARI went out on loan to Tonali, who were relegated from Serie B. Pep Guardiola previously made a cheeky €2 million bid at Man City, but Milan stood firm. The club can probably get away with sending him out on loan, maybe to Serie B once more, and then a season in Serie A, but at some point, the youngster is going to want to be at a club with a clear pathway to first team football. Right back: Max Aarons. Born just 4 days into the year 2000, Max Aarons is the veteran of this team, the old head at right back at 19 years of age. Feeling old yet? For those of you who don't follow the Championship, England's second tier, Norwich City are top of the division right now and having a pretty good time of things. The arrival of players like Teemu Pukki and Emiliano Buendia have been key to the Canaries' resurgence under Daniel Farke, but so too has the emergence of young Max Aarons at right back. Once a member of the Luton Town Academy, Aarons had never been a part of any of England's youth team setups prior to this season. Having made his league debut in September 2018, Aarons hasn't really looked back, racking up 36 appearances so far this season and winning a call-up to England's under-19s. Quick and capable of doubling up as a left-back, Aarons made the Championship Team of the Season recently and has been nominated for the EFL Young Player of the Year award. We had good options at right-back, but Aarons is the right choice. Centre-back: Ethan Ampadu. On the right side of our centre-back partnership, and probably our defender with the most potential in my book, is 18-year-old Ethan Ampadu. I was fortunate enough to watch Ampadu live at Exeter a few years back, then aged 15 and one of only 13 appearances that he made for the club before being snapped up by Chelsea, and he was genuinely the Grecians' best player. To be playing men's football at 15 is outstanding, never mind to be standing out at that level. There were a couple of times last season when Ampadu broke into the Chelsea side and began playing for the Welsh national team, and it looked as though he'd broken through, but Stamford Bridge is a notoriously tough breeding ground for talented young players. Ampadu is only 18, so really needn't worry at this stage, but if we're sat here in 2 years' time when he's 20 and he still isn't getting decent game time, I'd suggest he could do a lot worse than following in the footsteps of someone like Jadon Sancho and looking for opportunities elsewhere. Centre-back: Pieri. When you consider how defenders typically tend to break through a little later in their careers than forward players, I'd say the quality of our centre-back partnership is pretty impressive. Alongside Ampadu is Kikpieri, who was born in America but has already represented the Netherlands at several youth levels. Currently aged 18, Pieri broke into the Heerenveen side in 2017, and he's since gone on to register 59 appearances. Also capable of debutising at left back, Pieri was linked with both Manchester clubs in 2018, but recent reports suggest Ajax and Southampton could be the most interested parties. Just for clarification, his compatriot Matthijs de Ligt was born in 1999, and therefore isn't eligible here. Left back, Ryan Sessegnon. Max Aarons may be the veteran of this side in terms of his age, but in terms of games played, no one comes close to his opposite fullback, Ryan Sessegnon. While Sessegnon did play a lot of football at left back when he first broke through at Fulham, he has tended to play further forward on the left flank in recent times. It remains to be seen where he'll settle long term though, and since we are blessed with far more talent in attacking wide areas than in the fullback positions, it makes sense to put him at left back. Sessegnon is so young that he said in an interview last season that Luke Shaw was a player he admired growing up. At the age of 18, Sessegnon has played 114 games for Fulham, including 28 in the Premier League this season. Quick and good on the ball, Sessegnon makes really dangerous runs down the left flank, and he bagged 16 goals last season. It remains to be seen if he'll stick around at Craven Cottage for another season in the Championship, but if they do cash in, the teenager will command an enormous transfer fee. Holding midfield, Sandro Tonali. Without doubt the position with the least talent born in 2000 or later as far as I'm concerned is holding midfield, but don't let that fool you into thinking we haven't found a gem for our starting 11. Sandro Tonali has only ever played in the second tier of Italian football with Brescia, but he has racked up an impressive 46 appearances at the age of 18. What's more, Brescia top the Serie B table right now, meaning Tonali should be playing top flight football next season, whether it's at Brescia or elsewhere. He has been linked with the likes of Liverpool, Juventus, Roma and Inter Milan already, and is now the youngest member of Italy's under-21 squad. A neat and creative deep-line playmaker, Tonali plays with an intelligence and composure far beyond his years. He'll have his work cut out at the base of a very attack-minded midfield here, but he should do our possession stats a world of good. Right wing, Jadon Sancho. The star of the show and the best player in our entire 11 can be found on the right flank in the form of Jadon Sancho. We said we had strength in wide areas, and we weren't kidding. Even our backup wingers are full internationals, but we'll come to them with our bench. As for Sancho, he has been a revelation at Borussia Dortmund this season. Following a quiet debut campaign, which is pretty understandable given his age, there's been nothing quiet about the 19-year-old's 2018-19 season. He tops the Bundesliga assist charts with 13, he has the most dribbles per game of any player in the division, and he has 8 goals to his name to boot. All that hasn't gone unnoticed by Gareth Southgate, who made him a full England international in October 2018, and a huge move back to the Premier League at some point seems inevitable. Left wing, Vinicius Jr. By far the trickiest decision in this 11 came on the left flank between Vinicius Jr. and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Since Sancho has the right wing on lockdown, one of them has to miss out, and in the end, we've just leant towards Vinicius. It's such a tight call though, that let's just say we'll rotate them game by game. Fast, explosive, and brilliant on the ball, Vinicius made a big impression in Brazil with Flamengo, and Real Madrid made him the most expensive footballer under the age of 18 of all time when they signed him for €46 million. Since then, the 18-year-old has bagged 4 goals in 5 games for Real's B team and 4 in 28 for the first team. He still looks a little raw and as if he's snatching at chances, but you don't play potentially 30 plus games in a season for Real Madrid at 18 without having serious potential. Vinicius' 17 goals in 19 games from the left wing for Brazil's under-17s is a mark of his talents at youth team level, and with the right nurturing, he could become a big player at the Bernabeu. Attacking midfield, Phil Foden. As those of you who have watched Phil Foden play for Man City will know, a little like Kevin De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva, he is capable of playing out wide or quite far forward, but also a little deeper in central midfield. He might have to be more of a central midfielder than an attacking midfielder for us, given the lack of protection we're likely to get from our wingers, but he's perfectly comfortable there. Foden probably couldn't be at a team with any fiercer competition in his position in world football, but it also means he's learning from the best, day in, day out. At the age of 18, he's already played 33 games under Pep Guardiola, but he only recently registered his first Premier League start in the club's victory over Cardiff. After that game, Pep talked about Foden's aggression in terms of his constant attacking intent, directness, and willing to drive the ball forward. Running at players is actually becoming a bit of a dying art in football, particularly English football, and that's why England fans should be just as excited about Foden as Sancho or Hudson-Odoi. It's been a long time since the country had a really technical and inventive attacking midfielder who loves to run at players. Centre forward, Rodrigo. It's a rare phenomenon in the game today having a strike partnership, but we've got a brilliant pair of teenagers up front here. We start with Rodrigo, who will be the deeper of the two playing just off the man up next. Equally capable of playing wide on the left or as a centre forward, Rodrigo is skillful, explosive, and a constant goal threat. Prolific for Brazil at youth level, he has scored 14 goals in 70 games for Santos, and he will link up with compatriot Vinicius Jr. at Real Madrid in a deal worth €45 million in the summer. The youngest player in our 11, I think I'm right in saying, Rodrigo was born in 2001, but one could also argue that he is the player with the most potential. Centre forward, Moise Kean. A man in the news recently for incredibly depressing reasons in the year 2019, there seems to be a rise in moronic racist abuse and an increasing number of Neanderthals feeling emboldened in European football recently, or at least a rise in coverage of such incidents. It's remarkable that it even needs stating that these things should be immediately condemned, and whilst the authorities need to grow a backbone and prioritise kicking it out of the game for good over upsetting sponsors and TV companies, players can make a real impact as well. Raheem Sterling has shown that emphatically in Britain recently, and all players of all races ought to be equally as unambiguous. To the credit of the Cagliari captain, Luca Cepatelli, he did tell his own club supporters to cut it out, which only makes Leonardo Bonucci's comments and actions all the more excruciatingly stupid. We've often complimented Bonucci as a player on this channel, but if I were an Italian or a Juventus fan, I'd never want to see him represent my club or country again. Anyway, back to the football, and if there is to be any hint of a positive from this whole shameful incident, and I'm highly doubtful there is, then it should be that it draws some attention to Moise Kean the footballer. Aged 19, he's been on the radar in Italian football for a good while now, having first represented his country at under 15 level. He's now a full Italian international, having scored 2 goals from 3 caps for the national team, along with 4 goals in 6 Serie A games for Juve this season. Kean has bags of flair, he's quick, and he makes all the right runs. He can play out wide, but we've got him as our most advanced player, with Rodrigo in behind him. Substitutes. Right, we'll rattle through our substitutes as quickly as possible, starting in goal with Christian Früchtl. Born in January of 2000, coaches in Bavaria have been pretty excited about Früchtl for a few years now, and the club have rebuffed the interest of Augsburg recently, so he's our backup to PLIZZARI. Next up is Joshua Wagnerman, a dream of a backup fullback since he's equally comfortable at right back and left back. Wagnerman has only played 8 games for Hamburg to date, having turned 18 in December, but there's already said to be a handful of Premier League and Bundesliga clubs waiting to swoop in for the German youth international. Should anything happen to Pieri or Ampadu, Svetozar Markovic is our backup centre-back. The Partizan Belgrade Academy has produced a number of talented players over the last decade, and Markovic looks to be the next in line. At assured centre-back, he's played over 40 games for the club, having just turned 19. Then we come to former Barcelona and current Dortmund youngster Sergio Gomez, a really versatile little midfield player who can play in central midfield, attacking midfield, or on the left wing, but always plays with superb technique, flair, and close control. Then we come to the wingers, by far the strongest area of our squad, and we've got 2 on our bench. Well, 3 if one calls Gomez a winger as well. First up is Callum Hudson-Odoi, who has been highly rated for a good while but is now a member of the England senior team and finally looks to be getting some game time at Chelsea. He came mightily close to starting. Another fantastic wideman born since 2000 joins him on the bench in the form of Diego Lainez. Already capped 4 times by Mexico at the age of 18, Lainez earned rave reviews as a really quick and tricky wideman at Club America, and he joined Real Betis for $14 million in January. Our backup striker wasn't an easy call, but we've gone with Erling Braut Haaland, and if that name sounds familiar, it's because Erling is the son of former Man City and Leeds midfielder, and the famous victim of a nasty tackle by Roy Keane, Alf Inge Haaland. Born in Leeds, but a Norwegian youth international, Haaland joined Red Bull Salzburg in January, having scored 20 goals in 50 games for Molde. So that's it for our starting 11 and bench. Some particularly honourable mentions include the likes of Alphonso Davies, Pietro Pellegrini, Josh Sargent, Myron Baudu and Paulinho. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to HITC Sevens.